Welcome to our time together for conscious discipline. Does this look like a familiar scene in your home? If you have siblings in your home, there is likely fighting. There may not be siblings, there may be cousins, there may be friends over, it may be happening in school, it might be between you and your child. Let's talk about how to handle conflict in our homes. My name is Heather. I am a conscious discipline facilitator. I am a mother and I am a longtime early childhood educator and YMCA employee. Let's get into it. Why do they fight? Is it just to drive you absolutely crazy and drive each other crazy? Sometimes maybe, but more often when something happens to your child, someone intrudes on them, someone takes their toy, when this conflict starts, we are brought to our emotional center of our brain. And when we are in our emotional state, what we have access to is screaming, fighting, yelling, blaming, tattling, whining. So a lot of conflict brings us to our emotional state. And in that state, it's very difficult to press the pause button and access our tools. But even more common for our little ones is that they are I mean our children of any age, is not only that there is emotional state happening, but we have not yet taught them, and some of us haven't been taught either, to press that pause button, to slow down and press pause when there's conflict and take a breath so I can figure out what to do next. When I can pause and take that breath, I can access my toolbox. My toolkit's got all the things I can do when there's conflict. However, if they don't have a toolkit built yet, and it's okay, a lot of us don't have a great toolkit. Some of us have a toolkit where we've got yelling, screaming, threatening, and leaving. And that's our toolkit. When there's conflict, this is what we do. We want to practice building a smarter, healthier, more kind toolbox for ourselves so that we can give that to our children. So we are going to do what? Stop sibling fighting. Stop your child from fighting with people. Nah, that's not going to happen. We're not going to stop the fighting. We're going to tell them, teach them, and model for them what to do when there is conflict. They're going to fight. There's going to be a fight. What do they do after? So what we're going to do is ourselves slow down, and we are going to help them slow down. When there's conflict, slow down, take a pause and a breath, and let's figure out what we can do instead of fighting. So we're going to build their problem-solving toolkit. And the big thing we're going to talk about today is big voice. Okay, so we're the coach in this situation. We are coaching our children in using their assertive voice, their big voice. This is teaching other people how to treat you. When I use my assertive voice, when someone has done something to me, then I am saying, this is how you may treat me. This wasn't okay. So we're going to teach our children how to do that. But the first step is always going to be on us. It's going to be on us to slow down and take a breath. And Q-tip, quit taking it personally. Quit taking it personally. In my head, the first thing I say in my head when something is happening in front of me is, this is not about me. They need my help. This is not about me. They need my help. I'm going to walk into the conflict and I'm going to say, what just happened? If I don't know, if I know, then I don't need to ask this. But if I'm not sure what the fighting is about, then I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, what just happened? When I find out what happened, okay, here's what I'm going to do first. I am going to go to the victim first, because what I want our children to learn, what I want my child to learn, what we all want for our children, is to know that what we value as the grown-up is healing. When we go to the the doer, right? The aggressor, or the one that took the iPad, right? The one that stole the iPad without asking. When we go to that person first and take care of it, and you better not, and give it back to him, and you better say you're sorry, and you this, when we just solve the problem, we might end the conflict, right? Or maybe we're going to take the tablet away altogether. If you're going to fight about it, I'm just going to take it. It's mine. We've ended the conflict, but we haven't taught them any skills or tools on how to handle it next time. So there's going to be a next time where there's hollering and yelling, and I got to go in and I got to threaten and take it away and take care of it. When I go in and go for the doer, right? The instigator, the aggressor, whatever the situation is, when I go to that person first, I am showing that I value control. But that's not what I value. What I value is healing. And I don't want this child to feel like a victim, right? Even though they were a victim of something. So I'm going to go to them first because I value healing. When I go to that child, I'm going to say, did you like it? I'm putting the power back in your hands, right? Obviously they didn't like it. Okay. Obviously they didn't like it. But I'm going to ask them anyway, because I want them to take charge of the situation. Did you like it? And they're going to say no. And then my role as coach is to help them figure out what they wanted and how to get it, right? So you wanted the iPad and you wanted them to ask for a turn instead of taking it out of your hands. And then here's how we're going to get it. Tell them, I don't like it when you take things out of my hand. Next time, ask for a turn and wait until I'm finished. Okay. So when I go in, I'm going to go to victim first. I'm going to say, did you like it? Once I know what the situation is, did you like it? And then we're going to go through, here's what you wanted. I'm going to validate and I'm going to clarify to make sure that I got it right? Here's what you wanted, and here's how you're going to get it. I'm going to help them. I'm going to empower them and give them problem solving. So the next time the tablet is getting ripped out of their hands, they can say, no, I don't like it when you take things out of my hands. Ask me for a turn and wait until I'm finished. They will have the tool. Doesn't mean they're going to do it exactly the next time. We got to practice these things, right? We're building new neural pathways in our brain. We're making this toolkit. We're going to have to practice it a lot. But in that situation next time, they might have the opportunity to do this. We're going to practice this over and over. It might be instead that I, as the coach, am going to say, you both wanted the tablet, right? Maybe they're not in a place to have this conversation or practice their assertive voice. Maybe my opportunity to coach is involving them in the problem solving. You both wanted the tablet. Maybe they both got home from school at the same time and both went at the same time for the one tablet on the table. You both wanted the tablet. How are we going to solve this? How are we going to decide who gets it first? Involve them in the conversation and the decision making. So tomorrow when they get home from school at the same time with one tablet on the table, they have either figured out a system that we've coached them through on how to decide who gets a tablet. I'll get it first today. You get it first tomorrow. Whoever is done with their homework first gets the tablet, right? They are involved in the problem solving. And aren't you more likely to be okay with doing something if you're involved in the process? Nobody likes to be told what to do all the time. We don't. Kids get told what to do all the time. They have so little control in their lives. Another important thing in this situation is connection. So Dr. Becky Bailey, the creator of Conscious Discipline, said that there is no greater consequence than what it feels like to hurt somebody that you love. Look, social relationships are hard. Social relationships are hard everywhere, not just with your siblings or your family, but at school, I may not be able to clock the kid that just took my pencil. We don't want them to do it at home either, but home is safe. Right? Home is a safe place to sometimes be the worst version of myself. It's a safe place for me to lose control sometimes. It doesn't mean we want those conflicts to happen or them to handle things like that. But the stronger the connection, right? When we take every opportunity we can to build relationship and connection between our children, with our children, we are strengthening that relationship. We're increasing the likelihood that they're willing to cooperate with each other, that they're willing to take turns, that they're willing to come back together after conflict, because that is hard. What's the first aid kit in your home after conflict? How do you repair after the rupture? And this is tough. It's tough for me. That was never modeled for me. My family had a rupture, and then there was no repair. There was just, we'll just pretend that this never happened. We'll never talk about it. So we didn't learn how to handle the conflict in the future. And we also didn't learn how to talk about it or how to move past it. And it was really difficult. I'm not great at it now either, but as an adult, it took me a long time to be able to just go and say, that felt terrible, right? Sometimes our heart softens and the fight's over, but our brain still doesn't know how to repair with the other person. We're not going to do that for our kiddos. We're going to figure out what we want it to be. It might still be hard between adults, but my child, when my child and I have conflict, I will say, hey, that felt terrible. We both yelled at each other. It felt terrible. That's not how I wanted to handle it. Next time, let's try and pause and take a breath or handle it this way, right? I want him to know that when conflict happens, it can be done and we can move past it in a better way than forcing an apology. Saying I'm sorry is great, right? When you feel sorry. Apologies mean something. But when we force apologies, right? We learn this really little, that when you do something, you say sorry. How many times have you seen a little child do something to someone else and just immediately says sorry? They don't help them. Maybe they've knocked them over. They don't help them up off the floor. They don't, they don't help them because that's not what we've taught them. What we taught them was, when you hurt someone, you say sorry. It's how we move on or get over it. So modeling this, deciding in your home with your child, between your children, what do you want this repair to look like? Connection after conflict. What we don't want to do is shame, right? Look how you made him feel. Look what you did. You should be ashamed of yourself. When I have a relationship with someone, or even when I have respect for someone, it doesn't even have to be like a love relationship. When I respect my relationship with someone and I've done something hurtful, that means something to me. And the apology means something. Might feel guilty that I did that and take steps to repair that relationship. But shame is different. Being shamed gets in deep into us, and can stay there for a really long time. Shame translates into, I'm not enough, I'm not good, I'm not a good person. So when we see our child in conflict, we want to give them skills and tools to repair the relationship, because they want to and because they understand what it feels like, not because we've made them. Take a moment to pop over to Schubert and Sophie's book page and check out these books if you haven't yet. These books model big voice, how the adults coach the big voice and how children can use big voice. So check these books out. They're good tools to do with your kids and honestly just on your own too. You've got this. Until next time, I am wishing you well.